What are the signs you are breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist? Ending a relationship with a narcissist is incredibly difficult. The trauma bonding that occurs makes it feel nearly impossible to break free. However, there are many signs that indicate the trauma bond is weakening and you are on your way to freedom. Just in case you already recognize that this narcissist is destroying your life, stealing your time and draining your resources, but still feel stuck and unable to move on, I recommend watching this video, How to Finally Get Over Your Ex-Narcissist When You Still Obsess Over Them. The link is in the description below. Now here are the signs you will feel when you are breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. You feel a sense of relief when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. One of the most telling signs that the trauma bond is breaking is a feeling of relief washing over you. After months or years of anxiety, depression, anger, and pain, you suddenly realize you can breathe again. The tightness in your chest lifts, the constant panicking ceases, and the crushing heartbreak fades away. In its place, the calmness and lightness of relief enters your mind and body. This shift is often quite abrupt, taking you by surprise. But it signals the trauma bond has loosened its grip, and you are beginning to break free. One woman described waking up feeling like a dark cloud had floated away overnight. Another said she suddenly felt like a vice grip around her chest was released and she could breathe freely again. Thoughts of the narcissist fade when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Another indicator the trauma bond is weakening is when you notice your thoughts are no longer consumed by the narcissist. You aren't constantly wondering what they are doing, who they are with, or obsessing over getting them back. Days start passing without them even crossing your mind. When thoughts of them do pop up, they don't overwhelm you anymore. You are able to refocus your mind elsewhere with ease. This mental separation means the obsessive nature of the trauma bond is no longer controlling you. One man said he used to track their social media for hours, but now can go days without thinking of them. A woman said she used to analyze every interaction but now goes long stretches forgetting the narcissist even exists. You stop idealizing them when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. A strong sign the spell is breaking is when you stop idealizing the narcissist and seeing them through rose-colored glasses. The facade wears off and you recognize their toxic behavior clearly. The false persona they initially presented no longer blinds you from the truth of who they are. You recall specific examples of their lies, manipulation, callousness, and other abusive behaviors. This ability to see reality marks the trauma bond is losing its power over your psyche. One woman said she used to think the narcissist was impressive, but now sees they are just a self-serving snake. A man said the narcissist used to mesmerize him, but now their true ugly core is visible beneath the superficial charm. Their attempts at hoovering fail when you are breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. When the narcissist tries to hoover you back in with promises, flattery, and faux affection. But their tactics no longer work. It's a sign the trauma bond is fading. You are able to see through their manipulation and resist their hoovering attempts. Instead of desperately hoping they will change or taking them back yet again, you maintain no contact and remain strong in your resolve to move on. The effectiveness of their hoovering relies heavily on an intact trauma bond. So when it stops working, you can be sure you are breaking free. One man said the narcissist's old tricks used to always suck him back in, but now he sees through the manipulation. A woman said she was able to ignore the narcissist's hoovering attempts completely. Recognizing it would just lead to more pain. Your desire for revenge diminishes when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. The trauma of narcissistic abuse often leaves us wanting revenge or justice. However, when that burning desire for retaliation starts fading away, it indicates healing is taking place. True freedom means letting go of revenge and releasing desires to hurt them back. The less you fantasize about getting even, exposing who they really are, or wishing them harm, the more clearly you are severing the trauma ties. This doesn't mean condoning their behavior. It simply means not letting their actions dictate yours anymore. One woman said she no longer feels any desire for revenge or payback, just acceptance. A man said while the anger was once red hot, now he feels total peace and forgiveness instead. Random memories don't trigger you when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Memories of the narcissist used to send you spiraling, but you notice that when random memories pop up now, they don't trigger painful emotional reactions anymore. You are able to reminisce about both good and bad times with a sense of calmness and acceptance. The memories have lost their emotional sting, indicating your mind is processing the trauma. While total indifference takes time, getting to a place of reflection versus reaction shows progress breaking the bond. A woman said memories of the abuse used to upset her greatly, but now they elicit neutral reactions. A man said he can look back on even painful memories with a sense of calm rather than getting triggered. You stop blaming yourself when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Narcissists are master manipulators and frequently make their victims feel responsible for the abuse. When you stop blaming yourself and placing guilt on your own shoulders for their behavior, it demonstrates the trauma bond is weakening. You recognize the narcissist alone is responsible for their decision to mistreat others. No amount of love, patience, or understanding from you could have changed who they are. This self-forgiveness and clarity exemplifies you are releasing their toxic web. One woman said she is done being the narcissist's scapegoat and realizes the abuse was their choice. A man said that while the narcissist tried to make him feel guilty, he knows their cruelty stems from their own damage. Your plans don't include them when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. When you start envisioning plans for your future and no longer imagine the narcissist being part of it, this is a strong indicator the trauma bond is breaking. You are able to picture your life going forward, your goals unfolding, and your dreams coming true independently without them by your side. You recognize you are better off without them and already feel a sense of relief at their absence. The loosening trauma allows you to see a future that doesn't require their presence. A woman described planning her future with no narcissist, just herself, happy and free. A man said he feels hopeful and optimistic excitement rather than dread about his life without the narcissist around to drag him down. You have emotional distance when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. A key sign the trauma spell is lifting is when you develop emotional distance from the narcissist. Their attempts to make you jealous, their claims of being victimized, their posts meant to provoke you, all fall flat. You view their manipulation from an emotionally detached place. Things that used to get a rise out of you no longer have impact. This emotional separation means the trauma bonding is no longer able to keep you locked in reaction mode. A woman said the narcissist's drama used to upset her but now just seems laughable and pathetic. A man said he looks at the narcissist's manipulation with zero emotional reaction, just indifference. You experience true indifference when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. As the trauma bond further weakens, you may reach a point of feeling utterly indifferent towards the narcissist. Their existence or lack thereof does not impact you in any way. You feel nothing, not love, longing, anger, sadness, regret, or hope. No positive or negative emotions whatsoever. With the trauma spell broken, the narcissist becomes merely a stranger to you now. This complete indifference is the final stage of separating from the narcissist and provides the ultimate freedom. One woman described coming to a point where she felt totally indifferent toward her narcissistic ex, like he was just some random person she'd never met. A man said he discovered one day that he genuinely didn't care at all about his narcissistic former friend's life anymore. You refuse to get drawn back in when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. When the narcissist tries their usual tricks to suck you back into the abuse cycle, love bombing, threats, hoovering, triangulation, etc. But their tactics only make you strengthen your resolve. It's a sign you're breaking free. Rather than getting drawn in once again, you stick firmly to your boundaries and maintain no contact. Your clarity allows you to recognize their manipulation games rather than falling prey. You understand going back would only lead to more pain. This ability to remain strong against their ploys indicates the trauma hold is loosening. A woman said she started seeing through the narcissistic manipulation games and knew she had to maintain no contact. A man said hoovering attempts now only reinforce his boundaries rather than making him engaged. You stop trying to reason with them when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Attempting to reason with a narcissist or explain your perspective is pointless. Yet the trauma bond often compels us to keep trying. When you finally realize there is absolutely no reasoning with them and stop wasting your time and energy trying to get them to understand, it signifies you're breaking free. You accept the futility of explaining yourself to someone incapable of empathy. Stepping back from this unwinnable game demonstrates you are detaching from the fruitless trauma loop. A woman said she stopped trying to make the narcissist understand her point of view, knowing it was impossible. A man accepted that attempting to reason with the narcissist was simply pointless. You stop seeking their validation when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. The trauma bond causes us to constantly seek validation from the narcissist. Their approval becomes vital to our sense of self-worth. As the trauma grip releases, you recognize the narcissist's validation means nothing. You stop chasing their approval or trying to win respect from someone without a conscience. You cultivate your esteem from within instead. No longer defining your value based on their opinion is a major milestone showing the bond is weakening. One woman stopped caring what the narcissist thought of her and realized she defined her own value. A man described no longer seeking praise or validation from someone he recognized was toxic. You stop absorbing their projections when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Narcissists adeptly project their own shame, insecurities, and self-hatred onto their victims. When their criticisms, put-downs, and psychological projections bounce off you rather than being absorbed, it signifies you aren't accepting blame for their twisted inner world anymore. You recognize their words as baseless falsehoods about you. Not taking on their toxic projections demonstrates you are disentangling from the bond. A woman started seeing the narcissist's words as empty criticisms rather than truths about herself. A man began understanding the narcissist's put-downs stemmed from their own damage rather than his flaws. You let go of anger when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Righteous anger in the aftermath of narcissistic abuse is totally understandable. However, when the raw anger starts morphing into peace and forgiveness, not toward them but for yourself, it's a positive sign. This doesn't mean you approve of their actions. It simply means refocusing your energy from anger to acceptance, releasing the burden of resentment. Choosing peace rather than permitting them to live rent-free in your mind is freeing proof the trauma wounds are healing. One woman described making the choice to let go of her resentment and opt for peace instead. A man said his hot anger cooled into self-forgiveness and self-compassion over time. You establish boundaries when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Attempting to establish boundaries with a narcissist usually fails when trauma bonded. Though as the fog lifts, you are able to implement strong boundaries to protect yourself from further harm. Whether that means going no contact, only communicating through lawyers, or hanging up the phone when they cross lines. Protecting your emotional, mental, and physical well-being, rather than surrendering to their manipulate, proves you're putting your needs first. A woman went no contact with the narcissist to preserve her sanity and peace of mind. A man consulted a lawyer and cut off all direct communication with the narcissist in his life. You stop doubting yourself when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Gaslighting and psychological abuse by narcissists leads to constant self-doubt and reality distortion. As the trauma grip releases, you stop distrusting your own perceptions, memories, and judgment. You recognize the narcissist is the one distorting the truth, not you. This self-trust knocks down damaging mind games the narcissist trained you into accepting. Providing clarity, the bond is fading. A woman said her self-doubt faded as she regained confidence in her perception of reality. A man began trusting his instincts again after no longer buying into the narcissist's distortions. You stop overanalyzing when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. The trauma bond fuels constant rumination and overanalysis about every minuscule interaction with the narcissist. You obsessively analyze their words, tone, or lack of communication. However, as you detach from the bond, you spend less time agonizing over these details. Stepping back from microscopically dissecting their behavior shows you are breaking their hypnotic mental and emotional control. A woman stopped obsessively overthinking everything the narcissist said or did, releasing herself from the overanalysis. A man started assessing the relationship from a big picture perspective, rather than getting trapped in rumination mode. You create physical distance when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Ending a relationship yet continuing to live together, co-parent, or work together makes escaping the trauma bond nearly impossible. However, putting physical distance between you and the narcissist is a strong step in breaking the bond. Moving out, changing jobs, switching schools, transferring to a different office, etc. builds tangible barriers to their access and control over you. Avoiding places they frequent also helps distance you emotionally. This physical and logistical separation provides space to detach from the trauma without the narcissist able to maintain their grip. A woman moved across the country to put distance between herself and her narcissistic ex. A man left the job he shared with the narcissist in order to gain peace of mind. You stop looking for closure when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. The trauma bond often leaves you desperately craving closure from the narcissist. You want them to show accountability, offer answers, or provide explanations that will never come. When you accept that closure from them is impossible, it signifies you are ready to create your own. You understand you alone have the power to close this chapter, break the cycle, and move forward on your terms. Letting go of the quest for the narcissist's redemption or closure is profoundly empowering and liberating. A woman realized she alone could grant herself closure instead of seeking it from the narcissist. A man accepted that expecting accountability from the narcissist was futile and made peace with the lack of neat resolution. You feel more like yourself when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Under the narcissist's controlling hold, you feel stripped of your identity, values, interests, and personality. But as the trauma attachment breaks down, you will suddenly start feeling like you again. Your unique quirks, passions, humor, talents, and preferences all start to re-emerge stronger than ever. It's as if you reconnected with your soul that the narcissist had suppressed. This reawakening of your authentic self is a beautifully liberating sign the bond no longer has you tethered. A woman described feeling her passionate, quirky self re-emerging after the real her had been buried. A man started rediscovering old hobbies and talents that had been dimmed under the narcissist's presence. You stop fearing the unknown when breaking a trauma. Bond with a narcissist. So much anxiety comes from fearing the unknown after detaching from the narcissist. How will you survive on your own? What if you never find love again? You are conditioned to believe life without them will be unbearable. When you release these worries about the uncertain future and start feeling hopeful, optimistic excitement rather than dread, it signifies deep healing from their psychological conditioning is underway. A woman stopped believing the narcissist's claims that she couldn't make it without them and started feeling optimistic about her future. A man let go of fears about the unknown and began feeling genuine excitement about the possibilities ahead. You become a thriver, not just a survivor, when breaking a trauma bond with a narcissist. Surviving narcissistic abuse is an incredible feat in itself. Yet as you progress in your healing journey, you start to actually thrive in spite of the trauma you endured. You grow, evolve, pursue dreams, rediscover passions, and cultivate a deeply meaningful, beautiful life. When you grow from victim to thriver, it is profoundly empowering proof you have broken the narcissist's chains for good. Nothing is more liberating than reaching a place where the narcissist no longer has any bearing on your ability to thrive. One woman found herself flourishing in new hobbies and friendships, feeling more purposeful than ever. A man began achieving career goals he'd long put off, feeling liberated by no longer having the narcissist holding him back. Breaking trauma bonds with narcissists takes time, patience, self-care, professional help, and support. There is light at the end of the tunnel. By recognizing these signs, you will know you are making progress, setting yourself free one step at a time. Stay strong and keep going. Freedom awaits. If you haven't recognized these feelings yet, remember this video when you get the feeling and write in comments that you are now in the process of breaking the trauma bond with the narcissist. When you write it, it gives a validation that you are in the process of working on yourself. For those already healing, be sure to monitor self-talk and focus on alignment practices by watching this video titled, Recovering from Narcissistic Trauma, Soothing Sleep Affirmations for Self-Care. The link is in the description below. Please like, subscribe, and donate if you're able to support exposing covert emotional manipulation. Together we can heal, prevent further victimization, and raise awareness. I believe in you.